I can't believe this is happening. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I was just grocery shopping at Walmart. I had 3 carts full of food. $700 worth. Went to swipe my card, declined. Swiped it again, declined. Do you know how embarrassing it was for me to have to leave 3 carts and walk out? So I called my caseworker. I talked to my caseworker. My food stamps, I'm being investigated right now. So as I'm being investigated, all of my welfare benefits are on hold. No food stamps, so my $4,400 that I get in food stamps every month, I'm not getting. $2,200 in cash assistance, I'm not getting. Section 8 isn't paying my rent, so right now I owe $1,100 for my rent because Section 8 is also on hold, not paying my rent. My utilities, my $300 check that I get every month for utilities, not getting. 7 disability checks are on hold right now. 7. That is how I pay my bills. This is how I pay my bills. I don't have a job. I've never had a job. It is your responsibility as a taxpayer to support me and my 6 kids. So what the hell am I supposed to do? Well, everything's on hold. How am I supposed to put food on the table? We are going to be put out on the street. This is bullshit. This is not okay. 3 carts full of groceries I just had to walk away from. What can I do? What should I do? Does anybody have any advice? I can't believe this. My food stamps went from $4,400 in food stamps every month to $38. What am I supposed to get with $38 with 6 kids? The whole reason I had kids was the amount of government benefits that you get for 1 child.
So I'm convinced there's a lot of content creators on this app who just make the content for the views. You know, it's fake, but they just want the views. You know what I mean? You really sat there on the internet and said the reason why you had kids was for government benefits? Meanwhile, there are actual mothers, and yes, I said actual mothers, who are out here working 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 jobs just to feed their kids, accepting, shifts they don't like, bending over backwards just to be there for their children, and still getting denied the help they need because they make too much on paper. Those same mothers can't qualify for food stamps or housing because they are working too damn hard to be considered even poor enough.
So the House has passed a plan that will cut nearly $300 billion from the SNAP program. So this is what these videos are about. And what do you think about it? Do you think the program needs to be totally cut, or do you think the program needs to be reformed? So let's continue.
Now, they are no longer eligible for food stamps. The change affects Cobb, Gwinnett, and Hall counties. Channel 2 Sophia Choi is live in Cobb County. And Sophia, this involves able-bodied adults who are now required to go to work.
Okay, y'all. It has started. And the only reason why I stitched this video is so that I can bring a different perspective of what is happening. Now, if you don't know, from my understanding, starting in Georgia, it has started to where if you are an able-bodied citizen that has no dependents, you are now required to go to work or join a workforce program to prepare you to get into the workforce, and you are no longer allowed to have food stamps. Now, I see a lot of people stitching videos saying, oh, this is what you guys voted for, this is what you asked for, and now you're getting it, blah, 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 blah. As I said in the beginning of the video, I am only stitching this situation because I want to give a different perspective to the people who will be affected by this change. So here's my testimony, just a small bit of my life. When I was 18 years old, my dad had a rule that if you're going to live in his house past the age of 18, because at that point you're grown, the responsibility of taking care of your child in that manner is no longer there, that I had to have a job and I had to financially contribute to the house. Or I had to be in college with a part-time job pursuing a career. I personally did not want to go to college, so I decided to do the work route. And I was working at a college in the cafeteria part-time. And I was paying the bills my dad had required, or like the amount that he required, but I didn't have much left over for me to begin building a life for myself. Little did I know, making that decision of keeping a part-time job and not pursuing a job that could make it to where I could eventually move out and afford to live on my own ended me homeless by my decision. Something was said to me to where I just chose to leave to respect my parents' home, and I ended up homeless at the age of 18. I share that little tidbit of my life to say this. My dad could have easily changed his requirements in his home and changed, took back what he said to me that made me leave, because I want to emphasize again, he didn't tell me to leave. I chose to leave because I didn't like what was said to me and I wanted to respect my parents. But he could have easily changed his regulations to make my life easier, but he didn't. That decision to leave my parents' house at 18 vaulted me into who I am today. When I left my dad's house, I was jumping from friends' houses to my grandma's house. It was like a good year and a half, I believe, that I was like technically homeless because I had no place to call home and I was living out of my suitcase. And then, I'll share the rest of the story another time if you guys would like. But long story short, I ended up living with my grandma and I ended up having my first big girl job with Wells Fargo and starting a career. So now let's bring what I'm trying to say full circle. A lot of people are seeing this situation of no longer being able to be on food stamps. Now, listen to the requirements. It's for the people who are able-bodied, meaning there's absolutely nothing wrong with you as to why you should not be getting up and going to work. And number two, they have no dependents. So there's no scheduling reason, no babysitting. There's no reason why you should be getting food stamps and you're an able-bodied person with no dependents, okay? So for my people who are making this seem like a bad thing, I need you to stop. Because from my experience in life, when pressure is applied, you either crack and crumble, or you put pressure back and you get up and you do what you need to do to succeed. I don't know very many successful people who cracked under pressure. So if you're one of those people who food stamps is now being taken, God has to make you uncomfortable to get you to the next place in which he has for you to be. So see this as a blessing and a motivation to get off of whatever you're sitting on and get on your feet and start, putting back into society what you took, because that's other people being able to pay into the fact that you get food stamps. So you're paying forward back into what you took when you were on food stamps, and you're also building a life in which you can sustain for yourself to where you're not depending on the government to feed you. I'm gonna leave you with these last two things. Number one, last I checked, the Bible says that those who do not work do not eat. And those who are lazy, poverty will jump on their back like a thief in the night. Look around you with all you having being food stamps and whatever else you're doing to make money. Is that enough? Why are you okay with living with the bare minimum? Why are you okay living a life in which someone else can dictate whether or not you eat? Because right now you have set yourself in a situation that since the government said no more, you no longer have the financial stream that you need to feed yourself and your family if you have one. Don't ever get complacent in life depending on anything but God. I love y'all. That's it. That's all.